I lost 8 kilograms purely from the power of my words without having to do anything. Now, it sounds insane, but bear with me because I'm going to tell you how that happened to me. Hello, beautiful Earth Angel, and welcome to my channel. My name is Hightonixa, and I make videos about spirituality, manifestation, tarot, and more. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, I would absolutely love for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell to join our beautiful Earth Angel community. Also, if you hear some chiming in the background, that is actually just my thinking lanyard. Now, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever said something about yourself and then months later realized it somehow made its way into your reality? Maybe you've said, I'm always unlucky. I'm terrible at making friends. I'm never going to find love. Or maybe you've said something positive like, everything always works out for me. I'm so lucky. Opportunities always finds me. Whether you believe in manifestation, the power of mindset, or simply that our words influence the way we think and act, I think we can all agree on one thing. The words we repeat to ourselves matter. And today's video is about the strangest experience I've ever had with that idea, because somehow, after one small conversation, I lost 8 kilograms without even realizing it. Now, before we begin, I do want to make a quick disclaimer. I am not saying that simply speaking a number will make someone lose weight. Our bodies are actually incredibly complex, and weight can be influenced by many different factors, including nutrition, exercise, hormones, health, and genetics. I am simply just sharing something that happened in my own life and experience that made me reflect on how powerful our words and beliefs can be. With that being said, let's get into the story. So, when I was a teenager, my parents enrolled both me and my younger brother in martial arts, specifically Shitoryu Karate. To be completely honest, it wasn't really my passion. I wasn't one of those people who dreamed about being a martial artist or anything like that. My parents simply wanted us to stay active, healthy, and disciplined. The dojo was just around the corner from where we lived, and the instructors were incredibly strict. But looking back, it actually made complete sense because they trained athletes who competed at an Olympic level. So discipline was everything. Now, something that made my experience a little different was that I was one of the very few teenage girls competing in my age group across all of the local branches, which meant whenever competition season came around, my sensei almost automatically entered me. Um, did I actually want to compete? Honestly, no. But the younger version of me was the biggest people pleaser. So every time I was asked, I would just smile and say yes. And looking back, oh, I've come so far from where I was, who I used to be. Now, if you've never done karate before, there are generally two types of competition categories. So the first is called kata, which is a choreographed sequence of movements demonstrating technique, precision, and control, which is more like the artistic side of it. I loved kata. It felt artistic, focused, controlled. But then there was kumite, which is sparring, actual combat. And if you know me, you'll know I have the softest heart imaginable. I hate hurting people. Ironically, I was actually built quite well for it. I was around 165 centimeters tall. I was naturally muscular because of my genetics. I was strong, athletic, but mentally, I just wasn't someone who wanted to fight. Now, here's the conversation that changed everything. Competition season arrived. I'm standing in the dojo, hoping, praying that my sensei does not call my name. Of course, he does. I walk over, I bow. He says, I've entered you in the competition. I just need your details. My heart drops, but you know what? Easy enough, you know. Then he asks me a simple question. What is your weight? Okay, immediately I froze. Now remember, I was a teenage girl, and like so many teenage girls, unfortunately, I attached far too much meaning to the number on the scale. At the time, I weighed about 68 kgs. Not about, I was 68 kgs. Sometimes I would be 68.5 kgs. Looking back, that actually made complete sense because I had a naturally muscular build. I trained 3 times a week. I was active, healthy, strong, but teenage me didn't understand body composition. All I saw was a number, and I felt embarrassed. So instead of telling the truth, I quietly lied and said that I weighed 60 kilograms. 60. That's a whole 8 kg difference, okay? I think you guys are starting to, follow up now. My sensei nodded, he wrote it down, and we carried on. That was it. Or so I thought. What happened afterwards? The competition came, I gave it my all, and somehow I walked away with a gold medal in kata across my division for the Auckland region. Unfortunately, I got a silver medal in kumite. Surprise, surprise. We are literally not surprised because, like I said, I hated kumite. But, it actually still surprised me. Like, hello, it was a silver, not a medal. Anyways, a few days later, I stepped onto the scale, not expecting anything, and the number literally read 60.1 kilograms. I remember staring at the screen thinking, what the heck? Is the scale broken? Is the battery running out? Like, hello, I'm not 60 kg, so how did that happen? I hadn't started a new diet. I haven't changed my exercise routine. I was still training the same amount. So, like, my exact lifestyle when I was 68 kg was the same as when I was 60 kg. I was eating the same foods, living the exact same life, yet somehow the number I confidently said out loud just days earlier was almost exactly what the scale showed. To this day, I can't tell you exactly why that happened. Maybe there were natural changes in my body that I wasn't aware of. Maybe several factors came together at once. I genuinely don't know. But what I do know is that this experience completely changed the way I, spoke over myself because that's the moment it clicked to me. Words can really make a difference in your life. And also, I would just like to put it out there. When I was 68 kg, it was not like I was in my luteal phase where it's like a couple days before your period where you gain weight. Because, across the span, like I would regularly weigh myself and my average was 68 kg. Yeah, but it reminded me of something my mom once told me. After this happened, I remembered an experience my mom had told me about years earlier. 3 jars of cooked rice were prepared. One jar was spoken to with kindness and encouraging words, another was spoken to negatively, and the third one was like a control jar, which was left alone as a comparison. Whether you interpret the results scientifically, symbolically, or simply as a thought provoking story, the idea behind it stayed with me. The energy and words we repeatedly surround ourselves with can actually shape how we relate to the world and to ourselves. The idea has honestly stayed with me ever since. So, what does this mean for us? I don't think this story is really about weight. I think it's about identity. How many times have you looked in the mirror and said, I'm so ugly, I'm so annoying, nothing ever works out for me, I'm never going to succeed, I'm always sick, I'm just unlucky? Imagine hearing those words every single day, not from someone else, but from yourself. Your mind is always listening. Whether you believe in manifestation or not, your self talk influences how you see yourself, the choices you make, and the expectations you carry into the day. So, why not become your own biggest supporter? Instead of saying, I'm terrible at everything, try saying, I'm still learning and I'm getting better every day. Instead of nobody likes me, try I'm attracting genuine, healthy friendships. Instead of I'm always stressed, try I'm learning how to create more peace in my life. Notice that these statements aren't about pretending the problems don't exist. They are they are speaking to yourself with hope rather than hopelessness. Now let's talk about music. Now, I also want to mention something that I've become much more mindful of over the years, which is the music we listen to. Think about how many songs you repeat with the same lyrics over and over again. Whether they're about heartbreak, anger, revenge, or confidence, we naturally absorb the messages we hear repeatedly. I'm not saying you can never listen to a sad song. I definitely still enjoy different kinds of music, but what I do think is worth asking yourself is, how does this music make me feel? Does it leave you feeling inspired, hopeful, calm, motivated? Or does it keep you stuck in an emotion that you've been trying to move on from? Sometimes I love listening to instrumental music while I work because it helps me to focus. Other times I enjoy uplifting songs that leave me feeling energized. The point isn't to fear music, it's simply to be intentional about what you allow into your mind every single day. So, before you leave today's video, I have a little challenge for you. For the next 7 days, pay attention to how you speak to yourself. Every single time you catch yourself saying something negative, pause, take a deep breath, and rephrase it with kindness. Not perfection, kindness. Write down 3 positive things about yourself every evening before bed. Speak to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love deeply. What helps me to do this is when I think about that I'm speaking to my inner child. So take like a childhood photo of you, or like a photo when you were a baby, and just remember this is who you're speaking to, because guys, literally that is who you're speaking to. Because if your words have the power to hurt you, they also have the power to heal you. Thank you so much for watching, beautiful Earth Angels. If today's story resonated with you, I would love to hear it from you in the comments. Has there ever been a moment where your words or your mindset changed the way you saw life? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and become part of our Earth Angels community. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, Earth Angels.